This is the story of our precious and adored Kawasaki KZ1000. In this video, we'll let you know how we brought this iconic motorcycle back from ruin. A broken down, worn out rust bucket to an 1197cc show bike thanks to some great friends and some great expertise. Let's take it out of storage. For the first time in more than 5 years, we've got clean carbs, fresh gas, and a brand new battery. That means old cows never die. We're hoping to make some noise, feel some excitement, and maybe even make a little smoke as well. Every motorcycle has a story, and this one is no exception. Old cows never die. Enjoy the story of our 77 KZ1000.
Hey guys, I want to share the story of my bike real quick if I could, because the story of this bike also parallels why cycle drag is here. First off, as you can see, this is one of the most awesome Kawasaki creations of all time, the KZ, which was born out of the 1973 Z1 900, the bike that many consider to be the one that started it all, started the craze.
The official world launch was actually in September of 1972, and the Z1 took the world by storm. It is still in use today. As you can see in motorcycle drag racing, it really became the small block Chevy of the sport. It's hard not to love the Z1 KZ.
Now, let me tell you how this began for me. My dad picked me up from the hospital. He came to see me for the very first time with his 1976 KZ900. Ever since then, I had the bug. My dad always had one growing up.
And here is the bike that my dad visited me in the hospital on today. This is his 1976 KZ900 in full drag bike trim now, even self-starting. It's still a great bike. Also had a 1978 Kawasaki KZ1000 with LTD bodywork that we had a lot of fun on. This is how I grew up, Keystone Raceway Park. Dad taking on a Hayabusa in what has to be the first year for the Hayabusa in 1999. I'm also a Hayabusa owner. I realized I needed one of those. That's a story for a different day. But nonetheless, we had so much fun at the drags with the KZ.
Unfortunately, my parents got divorced when I was about 5-6 years old. My dad had to store the bikes, but anytime we would go where they were stored, I loved to play on them. I loved to look at them. They were so cool. We would also continue going to ADCO, New Jersey, the big ProStar US Nationals out there.
Here's a picture from my first trip to ADCO. I think I was 4. I loved it. The noise was a little bit overwhelming. And see if any of you can identify the bike behind me. This is where I fell in love with the sport and cycle drag was born.
And I would say about the 6th or 7th time he took me, I was hooked.
And that's also where we met legend to be, a young Larry Spiderman McBride. Here he is in 1991. Gotta love the old school rolling Burnout. I was too short to see over everyone standing up, but boy, I was hooked.
Loved motorcycle drag racing, loved everything about it, and told him, I said, as soon as we get home, we have got to get one of those bikes out of storage and start working on it.
And speaking of storage, that brings us to now, where we aim to bring the beloved KZ out of the basement for the first time in more than 5 years. Due to my peripatetic lifestyle as a broadcaster, I've had to move around a lot. I've had to live out of town. I haven't always had a garage, so my dad was nice enough to store this motorcycle. We finally got some time. We cleaned the carbs, fresh gas, put a new battery in it, and I gave it a nice shine. I spent a lot of time detailing it and was really pleased to find this motorcycle was just how I left it. The question now was, would this machine make some noise once I hit the start button? I know what they say, old cows never die. Would that be the case? Let's find out. But before we try to hit that starter button, let me tell you a little bit more about the story of this motorcycle. I want to tell you where I got it and what we did during the restoration.
So fast forward, I was a high school senior. This boy popped onto eBay. I didn't tell my parents back then. The auction was in Indiana. I was in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Came in with a last second bid of $1,100. The ad said all the bike needed was a good carb job. And I'll show you the pictures down below in the description. I got a whole article about it. The pictures look better than what it was. Took off with my good friend Dan and we drove to Indiana. Didn't even tell the parents, 6-hour trip. When we got there, the thing was in such rough shape that there were flowers growing out from underneath it.
This was the original picture from the 2001 ad, and I can guarantee you it looked way worse in person than what you see here. It said all it needs is a good carb job. Come on, man, this was a rust bucket parts bike that needed all kind of love. But it's hard to turn around empty-handed after a 6-hour drive, so we loaded it up and I got ready for the project of my life.
I'm not so sure what was salvageable with this motorcycle. It didn't run. Every bolt and nut was rusted. It did have chrome, but the chrome was flaking off. That should give you an idea of how abused the bike was. Nonetheless, loaded it up, took it home. My dad said, "What the heck were you thinking?" My stepdad said, "What the heck were you thinking?" Now we can say though, $1,100 all these years later was a pretty good deal. That's when the resto started. Got a lot of help from my dad, my stepdad. It took a couple years to get it going. When we did finally get it going, let me show you this sticker right here. I might have to always leave this on because I went to the University of Florida. Now the problem at the University of Florida is there's 50,000 students and about 5,000 parking passes. So I lived off campus and it was a miserable time trying to get to class. So my junior year, I told my dad, I said, "Man, can we get this thing fixed up? Let me bring it down," because there's plenty of motorcycle parking. It was mainly for scooters, and that's what we did. So the bike helped get me through college. And somewhere I have a picture, I got to dig it out. It's funny. Gator Stadium, the swamp, you got all the football players' scooters.
A seemingly endless line of scooters. The athletes had them, the financially fortunate kids had them. There were scooters everywhere.
And the KZ1000 sitting right there. And that is also where the shop of Spiderman, right-hand man, Roland Stewart is, Stewart Cycle.
This shop was a godsend. Roland Stewart is a former Top Fuel motorcycle racer in his own right, and this shop was really my safety net because the KZ still had a lot of issues that needed to be worked out, and I was a little nervous being 1,000 miles from home.
And I got to thank Roland so much because Roland took the bike to the next level. I had so many issues. I would stop by Roland's shop. The battery would be dead. The carbs would be clogged. I think there were 6 strip bolts in the engine he fixed. He took the bike to the next level. He helped me get it roadworthy. And what's funny is I think I still owe Ro beer because I asked one of my good friends, I said, "Man, Ro won't take any money off me." He said, "Just bring him beer." Well, I was a poor college kid, starving, literally and figuratively, so I bought him a 6-pack. That didn't go over so well. He said, "What's up with the 6-pack? Bring me a case or bring me nothing." So Ro, I apologize. I still owe you at least a case of beer. Then brought it home, did a full frame off restoration. Took it down to the bare frame, ended up painting the frame. My stepdad did that. Stepdad did some paint over here as well.
Yes, after graduation and returning home, I decided the KZ was so good to me, it was time to be good to it and go all the way with a down-to-the-frame restoration.
I got with a local guy, Performance Technologies, Doug. He helped me clean up the cases and everything.
The motor was torn down for some deep cleaning and some much-needed maintenance and upgrades.
And really, when we took it to the next level, was when it ended up at the shop of Larry Spiderman McBride. Very lucky to have Larry as a friend.
It's been a real joy covering Larry's race program and getting to know him personally. He's a great guy and a talented racer.
We started off as, well, I was always a fan of his, and then I started off helping him with team reports, and then we just became family. He's a great guy. Him and his brother, they let me into their shop just like Ro did. And here's
there was no better place to give the KZ its final touches.
And here's what we did. I want to show you this. We took it to the next level. 1197 cc MTC Pistons. Thank you very much, Eric. There's a story behind that too that we'll get to someday. Webcam, the best in the business, 395 webcams, all kind of APE parts in here, including the heavy duty studs. It is a true hot rod. APE valve springs, 34 millimeter Mikuni carbs. I'm really happy with the way it turned out. And you know, they say old cows never die, and here we are. It's been in storage for the last 6 years.
And the burning question is, will it start up?
All right, first time out of the basement in 5 years. We got a new battery in there, some fresh fuel, a couple minor tweaks. Let's see if we can get this old classic cow to make some noise. They say old cows never die. I got a good feeling. Let's see. All right, my beloved motorcycle. Let's see if we can make some noise here. Gas on, half choke. It's pretty warm out. There we go. Got the battery in, neutral. Old cows never die if you treat them right. Now, if I remember right, it doesn't like to choke for long when it's this warm out. All it needed was a little fuel, a little battery, and the story continues. There's much more to it, but I just wanted to give you a little bit. So thanks for listening to me, and I appreciate all of you. I put a picture of this on the cycledrag.com Facebook page, thinking 10 of you may like it, and it blew up. It had like 500 shares and 500 likes. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I can tell we got a lot of old school fans out there. If you had one of these bikes, share a story down below, please. Appreciate all the shares and all the support we got on the cycledrag.com Facebook page.
Sounds just like I remember it. Man, I am so pumped. I'll tell you what we're gonna do now. Let's jump on this old machine and give it a shakedown run and see how far we can get.
Time to suit up and get ready to go. See what this old KZ will do. Now, I didn't plan to go too far, but it was such a gorgeous evening and the bike was running so well that I made it all the way to Gettysburg, Pennsylvania and Gettysburg Battlefield. What a sight. Rides like this are totally priceless. And the KZ felt great.
Wow. Look at this epic sunset behind me. This is so beautiful. The KZ is running much better than I expected. It was great. This is a wonderful ride on Route 30. There's only one problem. I think I got an oil leak at the base gasket. So luckily I just checked the oil level. I'm okay to get it to my next stop, but it's something I'm gonna have to inspect when I get home.
It wasn't a major leak, just a little bit of oil. A little bit of oil will make a big mess, as you can see. And as memory serves, I remember that I did have a little bit of an issue from somebody improperly disassembling it before my time. I remember that we were a little bit concerned about the surface on the base. So the bike just needs decked, and we're gonna take care of that and freshen up the surface.
Here we go.
In the meantime, I want to go for a ride, visit some friends. Hey, check it out, my buddy Sean from Bikes and Beards on YouTube. We'll meet him coming up. And you know, we'll log plenty of miles on Old School.
Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. More coming. The story continues with the old cow.
What a classic and treasured motorcycle. Kawasaki hit a home run with this double overhead cam, 4-cylinder, about 85 horsepower KZ1000. I know we got a little bit more right now thanks to the upgrades. So we got a little bit more work to do, but hey, these old bikes are a work in progress. But if you have one, if you've ever done a resto, I think you agree with me, they're a labor of love. Yes, sometimes they drive you crazy, but when you get them out and get them on the road, it is so fulfilling. And the looks and the stories you get are crazy. I've met so many friends just tolling this bike around for a couple days. I've heard so many old war stories from the 70s. I love it. I'm going to keep going with this. I'm going to hopefully get that oil leak fixed real soon. That's going to require the engine being torn all the way down, but it will be well worth it. For now, we're just going to keep a close watch on the level. And wait till you check out the crew that I saw at the Burning Bridge Tavern near Wrightsville, Pennsylvania, right outside.
I love the sign, guys. What's going on over here?
Oh, we're just having a great Saturday.
Okay.
Well, I mean, Wrightsville, they lifted the drinking ordinance, right? So we're just tailgating the BBT over here, tailgating Hell in a Bucket over here, just having a good time.
Did they lift the burnout ordinance?
I hope they did.
I think
burnout's legal. This road right here was clear before we got here.
Okay.
Now there's marks on it. We did our job.
Let me take a look. Let me take a look and see if I see anything. Uh-oh. We do see some black lines.
Definitely missed the Busa coming through.
Oh, you saw a Busa?
Yeah, he came back sideways. He went both times sideways.
You guys got the spot. I like what you're putting down here.
Yeah, man, we've been here since 12.
How many burnouts do you think you've seen so far today?
A dozen? Yeah, about easy a dozen. About a dozen.
I like it. Well, we'll see. Maybe we can make a little smoke for you guys.
Sounds good. Thanks, brother.
I don't know. These guys want to burn out. I don't know if we can.
Oh, yeah, burn out here. Let's see it.
I mean, we wouldn't want to break the law or anything. Where are we at? Mexico? Are we in Mexico?
We're in Mexico. Wherever you feel comfortable doing a burnout in.
All right. We couldn't resist smoking the tire just a little bit. Well, I promise you, it was time to get out of there, but this story is far from over. Make sure you stay with us here on the Cycle Drag YouTube channel and cycledrag.com on Facebook. Make sure you're following, make sure you're subscribed, because we have many more from the exploits of a KZ rider who brought this thing back from the dead. It was purchased off of eBay in 2001, and now with an 1197 kit, a whole lot of blood, sweat, and tears and hard work, it can do a burnout on demand. A beautiful bike, and we still have some things left to do to it, but like I said, what nostalgia. It gives you the feel that guys had back in the 70s when they built these hot rod Kawasaki's. If you have any tales, please leave them down below. I know so many of you grew up with this motorcycle. You had one, your buddies had one. Tell me what you remember. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope we provided you with a little bit of entertainment. That's always what we aim to do. We love motorcycles, you love motorcycles. Let's keep this thing growing. Check it out, guys, up here on the wall. 100,000 subscribers. I love it. Thank you so much. It's all because of you. We appreciate it. Please come with any story ideas. We love the comments and the feedback. I read every single one of them. The positivity is always appreciated. And you haters out there, I love you too, because you keep me on my toes. Thank you for watching no matter what. Guys, to keep this thing growing, please subscribe to Cycle Drag on YouTube. Hit the bell for notifications. Share with some friends who like drag racing, like motorcycles. This is how we can keep this thing going. And also like cycledrag.com on Facebook. And we'll keep rolling. We'll keep finding those stories. We'll keep finding those impressive high-performance motorcycles that you want to see. Thank you guys so much. Truly appreciate it. You know, if there's anything fast motorcycles involved, we are in. Cycle Drag rolls on.
Yo, what's up, guys? Gabe Tuft here, founder of Body Spartan Racing. We're about to pack up and head out to MSR Houston. Just want to give a huge shout out to Cycle Drag and Jack Corpella. The site's awesome. What they do is awesome. Jack is awesome. Go check him out.
Thank you so much, Gabe, aka Tyler Rex from the WWE. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Do make sure you're subscribed, like, follow, and the story will continue. You know, if there's anything fast motorcycles involved, especially finally restored classic Kawasaki KZs, we're in. Cycle Drag rolls on.